Do you know that social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad? Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Good morning, viewers. You're welcome to an orientation and enlightenment program where government policies, program, and activities so that government can properly fine-tune their policies, their program and activities, and acts that governs the rules of the game. And that act is dynamic. A lot of key issues come to play. Recently, the Supreme Court precedents to the law, all of them come and take precedence and form part of this law. Therefore, we have decided to continue the topic Electoral Acts 2022, what citizens should know. And today I have with me, just on my immediate left, I have with me Barrister WILFRED NWABUDE. He is of the Legal Department, INEC, River State. Sir, you're welcome to the River State Dialogue.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, viewers.
And then we're also having an amiable lady that is joining us today to dissect this very, very all-important topic. She's no other person than Joy IFEOMA ANOZIE. Joy IFEOMA ANOZIE is from the Transition Monitoring Group, River State. Ma, you're welcome to the River State Dialogue.
Thank you very much, sir.
And then viewers, you're very, very important. Please keep the comments coming. Ask the questions. Take whichever form you want to take. Like I always tell you, you want to take the form of the presenters and put the question directly to them. You're free. And you also want to answer the questions, that are put to them. The Supreme Court struck out the case that was taken by the President to court concerning the Electoral Act. It's, is this section 84 thereabout, and it was struck out. Now, sir, let me put this question to you. What are the implications, if any, in the electoral process? What would be the implication of the striking out of that case by the Supreme Court? And that is the highest court of the land. There is no way any other person can for the electoral process, if any.
Great. Thank you once more. When it comes to the implication to the electoral process, there is none for now, because basically the essence of that section is about delegate election, delegate process during voting. So the Supreme Court actually did justice to that case, and on the INEC part, our law, whatever the court decides, that's what we adopt. But how it affects the electoral process, there is none, because we are past that stage in regards to political parties and their primaries and the delegate elections. So I don't think there's any implication whatsoever for now.
Now, I just want to go a little further. Now, what was the president actually demanding when he took Section 84 to the Supreme Court? What was his demand? What was his prayers?
Yeah, the context of that case, from the little I've seen about it, is all about whether that Section 84 is inconsistent with certain provisions of the Constitution that mandate that ministers and those who are serving the executives need to resign 30 days before the election. But the Electoral Act, based on the new provision, is stating that they ought to resign even before the political parties' convention and the primaries. So that's the breach, that's the thing that they're trying to streamline. But the Supreme Court actually, they took another decision entirely, because all they are saying from the little I've seen is that the president assented to that bill. You cannot assent to a bill, and the other way, you are saying that you are trying to declare a provision of it unconstitutional. So if you have any amendment, or if you have If you have any problem with any of the provisions, the process probably is for you to write back to the National Assembly for an amendment. But the moment you are sent to a bill, it becomes a law.
Exactly.
That's what the Supreme Court is saying.
Now, sir, let us bring it down a little bit. You know, we are talking to the ordinary Nigerians.
Okay, sir.
Is to sensitize them.
Definitely.
Now, the primaries that just took place, we know that all the appointed officers, they resign. They resign before contest, you know.
They resign from their work.
They resign from their work. And that was what took place in the primaries.
Exactly.
Now, the Supreme Court decision, are we saying that going forward, it will continue to be like that? Or, so in subsequent election now, they will not resign, they will be in office to contest. What is the implication? Who did it? What, you know, did it favor the president or the office holders? That is what I want clarity so that the people can understand what this whole thing is about.
If you want to be objective about that case, that means we have to look at the victims of that case and the ratio of which the Supreme Court have decided. But just like I said, I have not seen the judgment as it is for me to dissect it and say, okay, look at the position of the law. But so far from the little I've seen, the position of the law still stands the way it is.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, so the implications is not far-reaching.
Yes, because it's a law. You know, a law is something that is established. And once it's there, it's like a guideline, you know, of action, a framework to do things. So since it's like stipulated, it has to be followed. So that's the implication. The implication is that it's a law. And because it's a law, it has to be followed, like what my colleague said. If it's not going to be so, there has to be amendment, and amendment has to follow due processes.
Okay.
Because INEC's job in this whole thing is the provisions of the law should be followed to the latter. You understand? INEC doesn't want to dive into the politics that surrounds most of these provisions. But once the National Assembly makes a provision and the President assents to it, our job is to follow it stricto sensu.
Yes, now that is the stricto sensu, but whatever that falls out will also condition the way INEC will behave. For example, if the Supreme Court has made a pronouncement, a definite pronouncement, INEC will follow.
Definitely.
Yes, so that's why we have to discuss it, and that's why we have to know the implication. Maybe overtly or over the implication, openly, or you know, there are some cases that you even need an interpretation to the judgment. So that's why we're bringing all this to the fore, so that we know the implication, you know, because see, that electoral law, the implication is that everything that happens will trickle down to the common man, because it is the law that guides election, and election is about everybody. Apart from the politicians, the ordinary Nigerian, you and me will go out to vote. So it will condition and pattern our entire behavior.
Yes.
So you're right. You have to understand that this electoral is still new. It was signed just 25th of February this year. There are some of the provisions which definitely people are still trying to appreciate and understand. The commission and has a team of lawyers, eminent jurists who are very versed in the legal world. So most times when some of these issues comes out, they look at it. The commission has a committee on legal issues. So there are certain issues and even judgment, of course, that will come, conflicting judgment that will come. The commission looks at it, the lawyers look at it, and of course, at the end of the day, they take a position.
Okay, now let me take you on this, you know, the next question. Now, the Electoral Act 2022, no doubt, is a beautiful piece of legislation. Looking at it, you know, clause by clause, the provisions that were made, for instance, as we speak, already the names of this thing, from 1 year to the time, monies are released, enough time for campaigns, and the laws are, you know, there. Very beautiful and fantastic, beautiful, you know, law. But the question is that this piece of legislation, by your assessment, can it midwife a free, fair, credible, and transparent election in 2023? Because it's going to be operated by Nigerians. The law will not get up by itself to do anything. So, will this law midwife a free, fair, credible, and transparent election from 2022?
Thank you once again, sir. Looking at that act that was passed on the 25th of February 2022. See, the act had sections, and each of the sections, beginning from INEC being independent in their funds, providing their funds like the act stated, then having enough time for campaign and people going out to register for voting. These are procedures and processes. And given by your question, if this act is duly, mark my word, if it is duly followed conscientiously, it will midwife. Credible, you said, free, fair election.
Let's hold it there. Let's join our correspondent who is on standby. I'm going back. You know, we're not through with this, we're coming back. Let's join our correspondent who's standing by, you know, from Oyibo local government area. Mrs. Nancy, Mrs. Sophia Nanso, please, you're on. You're on, take it.
Senebo, I'm Sophia Nanso, the Como National Orientation Agency, Oyibo local government area. Today we are looking at the topic, Electoral Act 2022, what the citizens should know. Here with me is Mr. Wanko Osondu, the principal, Community Junior Secondary, Town School, Oyibo local government area. You're welcome, sir.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
In view of this topic, what are some of the key areas that you think the citizens should know that will help to enhance the people's understanding for a free and credible elections 2022?
Thank you so much. One crucial aspect, one crucial area of the Electoral Act 2022 is the section that allows for free transmission of votes. Over the years, these people, citizens, the masses, the electorates, the voters, they are beginning to believe that their votes no longer count. So why am I wasting my time? One or two persons stay somewhere to go and rig elections, select, nominate, and impose candidates on the masses. So, but this time around, with the inclusion of the electronic transmission of votes, people are beginning now to believe that their votes must count. So everybody is coming out to go for their PVC. See this now, even in our place here, people don't come out during the election. So they will rig the thing somewhere. But now people are beginning to believe that no, it's no longer business. It's no longer going to be business as usual. That they are going to do this. The votes must count. So it will help enhance the electoral process.
Thank you very much for your contributions.
Thank you.
Over to you, Mr. Senebo, and thank you.
Thank you, Sophia, there for your very concise and brief reporting there, but loaded. In the same way, we're going to join our correspondent who's also on standby from Ikwere local government area, Mrs. Grace Nkemjika. You're on, please take it off.
Thank you, Mr. Senebo, the presenter of today's dialogue. My name is Nkemjika Grace, reporting from Ikwere local government. Our dialogue topic today is 2022 Electoral Act, what citizens should know. With me to discuss this issue is Mr. Anderson. Good morning, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you.
From the Electoral Act 2022, what do you think that the citizens should know about this act based on forthcoming 2023 election?
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I am Mr. Anderson Ekwebelem, the lecturer in the Department of Political Science, Covenant College of Education, Aba. The Electoral Act is an act of the National Assembly. It draws its power from the 1999 Constitution as amended. The Electoral Act is a policy document. It acts like a compass to the Independent Electoral Commission to conduct a credible election for Nigeria, comparable to other nations of the world. We thank President Muhammad Buhari to have assented to the 2022 electoral as amended. The Electoral Act of 2022 empowers the citizens to go to the polling station and know how the electoral process is going. For instance, the number of voters that were accredited, the number of voters that have voted and transmitted electronically. And not only ending that, you also know on paper how many people have voted. The Electoral Act also beckons on the electorate to go and register and get their permanent PVC. Without PVC, it cannot participate in the electoral process. There is ongoing voter registration now nationwide. It affords the citizens opportunity to get their PVC. Most churches now have decided to declare members from entering into worship when they don't have PVCs. Most churches now have open restrictions in their churches. So that shows how important it is. We thank Muhammad Buhari to have made this thing so that we have credible election. The election process in Nigeria has been accused of fraudulent practices. But with this new electoral act in place, there will be no more fraudulent practices in the electoral act. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Grace Ikejika from Ikore local government. Yeah, that's a very thought-provoking report there. Thank you. Viewers, please permit me, while we are taking the correspondence, one of our discussants just walk into the studio, and then he's not a new face, he's joining us for the second time. Today is no other person than Barrister AROCHKWU OGBONNA. He is from the Civil Rights Council, sir. You're welcome once again to the University Dialogue. Thank you. You're welcome. Madam, we are discussing that, yes, that Electoral Act is a fantastic piece of legislation, but like we know, the legislation does not move itself to do anything. People will have to operate it. People will have to, enforce it. People will have to take steps to make it work. Nigerians that we have, is that law going to midwife a free, fair, credible elections, having been handled and operated by Nigerians? That's what you are saying before we join our correspondence. I think the other people will take their thoughts in this question.
Yes, like I said earlier, the Electoral Act is a beautiful piece, masterpiece, that is being provided to help the elections in Nigeria. Before now, we all know the stories about elections in Nigeria. And talking about midwifing it for credible election, I believe that if as Nigerians we tell ourselves that enough is enough, we are ready for once to do things right for the sake of our nation and the people, and we follow things the way it is being stated. An act is a guide, it's a framework, it's a regulation. So if we follow it diligently, see it a man that diligently follows something, he will sit before the kings. So if we follow it, it will definitely midwife. Can't we as Nigerians do things right for once without putting Nigerian factor? So I believe I'm one of those that are determined that Nigeria must do things well. They will get to do things if I do, you do, this person do, and we are all willing to do it. We will get a credible election come 2023.
But WILFRED, I love the fact that you use the word if. So that word is just two-letter word, but very loaded, word. Do you think that law, very good law, but Nigerians handling it, to implement it, to use it, for the election, would it midwife free, fair, credible, transparent election?
Of course, I've always believed in the electoral process and the laws that empowers INEC to act in that way. I've always believed that, especially this electoral act, will midwife more better elections. It's not as if the elections in the past are not doesn't have positive results, but most times it's all about a process which also involves the citizens, which involves the public, the media, and most NGOs, and that's why it's a collaboration. It's like a process. For this electoral act, the Commission tried its best from the moment the bill was initiated at the National Assembly to follow in the process to make a lot of inputs, and there was public hearing to make sure that certain provisions were in the electoral act. And good thing, most of the provisions the Commission initiated were in the electoral act, because the Commission is poised to make sure that the electoral process is credible, and not only that it's credible, that the citizens and the public see that the Commission is actually in the right direction. It will also increase the participation of the people. This electoral act, I sincerely believe that it will midwife a credible election because of so many provisions, which in the course of the program we are going to go in detail into it.
President, I don't need to repeat the question.
Well, the electoral act as it is a good piece of legislation, no doubt. In fact, as I said before, it is an articulation of the negative experiences. It is an articulation of the negative experiences we have had in the past that the electoral act sought to cure and give a permanent solution this time around. No doubt that as we progress, some other issues will emerge that may even require that in future we may amend the electoral act and accommodate, as well as the human civilization of those areas of attention will keep on emerging. But for now, we have a beautiful legislation. But I insist, in Nigeria, we have a lot of beautiful legislation, wonderful legislation, millions of legislation covering various aspects of our national life. Often, the problem is not the capacity or the intelligence of Nigerians to make a legislation. Often, the problem is implementation. And we find out that the lawmaking process and law implementation process involves a complex network of state organs and departments. Now, the National Assembly has made a good law. INEC is expected to follow up the law. But the police must play an integral role in trying to ensure that offenders, because as I said earlier, that a good portion of this act, they have criminalized a lot of conduct that hitherto now were perceived as civil, or what now attention was given to it. But with those, and these are conduct that mar our elections, But with the electoral having articulated some of those things and criminalized us, the police must play a role. Then the traditional institutions too must play a role within their domain in assisting the state agencies to ensure the follow-up of this constitution. So, Nigerian state organs of various departments must find their job within this law, and it's by executing these functions, as a teenager. National Representation Agency is bringing the law to the domain of the public within the purview of their own constitutional duties. The police will do their own, INEC will do their own. With that way, human conduct and behavior will be well regulated, and we can have a peaceful and credible election. So all of us are involved.
Let's believe.
Meaning that all hands has to be on deck.
Yes,
for it to be done.
The only thing I am a little wary about, we are not going to manufacture people to come. Exactly. The same Nigerians will handle it. Exactly. We pray that it will be it will have an improved election. Yeah. You see, considering, let me start with you, President AROCHKWU, this time around. Now, considering the ethno-religious, tendencies in our political discourse that are highly issue-based and tainted with hate speeches, do you think the 150 days, 5 whole months given for campaign is not too much because of the bickering, fight sometimes, political group clashing, sometimes, 5 whole good months, 150 days for campaign? You think in the wisdom of the National Assembly, they made the law is good, but what do you think about the 150 whole days given for campaign? You know our campaign used to be, you know, let's not deceive ourselves.
Well, the 150 days is good enough. In fact, if it is more, I will appreciate it.
You think so?
Yes, why? Because let's give opportunity to everybody to tell Nigerians what we want to tell Nigerians. Let's give opportunity to Nigerians to interrogate the process and interrogate the individuals and interrogate the political parties. Because I have always said it. A man tells me that if he's elected a governor, he's going to give me 100% salary. And now you clap for him and he goes. No economics, both in socialist or capitalist formations, can promise you 100% salary. What it means that you own the institution. Even the owner of the means of production cannot get 100% because they have to run the establishment. So I think to me the time is not only exclusive for politicians or political parties, but for the Nigerian people to engage the politicians sufficiently and adequately. Now coming to ethno-religious conflict and all those things, in reality, in real life situations, in fact in science, okay, the ethno-religious situations we see are not real in the traditional sense, in scientific terms. They are not actually real. They are trumped up by politicians or by state actors as a platform to mobilize and to correct sentiments.
So if I ask you, if I unconsciously, you are outside of this country or outside of this state, if I ask you, but where are you from? What would be the first thing that comes?
If I'm in the soil of America, I will say I'm a Nigerian. But if I'm in the soil of...
Are you sure?
Yes, but if I'm in the soil of Nigeria, I'll tell you I'm from Ebonyi State.
Beautiful. You see, that's what they are not necessarily trumped by politicians. It's in our blood. It's flowing in our blood because you just said it that you will tell me that you're from AROCHKWU.
Yes, but you see, yes. Where I will say so is because of the false consciousness possibly I've been fed from my primary education. See, currently, it possibly because of that false consciousness I've been fed from my teachers, possibly further in the university where I have to feel my religion and possibly where I'm from. Because of that, I may unconsciously react to that. But in real-time situations, if in the absence of such a kind of sentiments, politics go on in societies that have overgrown it. In fact, it's a sign of underdevelopment associated with our climate. The real issues are issues that bother each and every one of us in terms of our welfare. Once we leave those real issues and dive into the level of ethnicity, it is the comfort zone of politicians to mobilize. And that is why average Nigerians should rise beyond that consciously by virtue of reorientation or re-educating ourselves.
Thank you, sir. We're still coming on the topic, but viewers, let us open the phone line at this point. The phone lines will be open now. I read the lines out. It will be displayed on the screen for you to use that medium to also reach out to us so that we can have a seamless conversation. And the phone numbers are +234 91 66 58 73 58 7355. Let me take it for the last time a little bit slowly. +234 91 66 58 7355. Please, when you live with us, and then go straight, your name first, and then your contribution, and then please, this conversation is for enlightenment, is for education, is for reorientation, and so keep the conversation as civil as possible. Don't make unsubstantiated claims, please. Thank you. But keep the calls coming in. So, like we're saying, Barrister WILFRED, these, factors, ethno-religions, hate species, they're there. Even they started, the campaigns have not started, but if you're listening to news and your ears are very much on the ground, they are agreeing. 150 days. He said we could even be more to give Nigerians the time to really engage electorates and all of that. Do you think is appropriate?
Thank you once more. For me, I don't think there's any problem with that, the length of time. Actually, it's the responsibility of citizens to engage the candidates. And I feel that the citizens, the electorate should interrogate their candidate, and there should be enough time to do that. I just believe that in an electoral process, all the stakeholders should be involved, all the stakeholders should be engaged in regards to if there is investigate violence, hate speech. That's where the security agency is coming. The responsibility of INEC, and that's why INEC have been doing it, to make sure that as you engage the candidates, that your vote on that day will count. So that however you accept the candidates within this period of time, on that day, when you decide to come and cast your vote, when you decide to come and perform your civic responsibility, your vote will surely count. And that's where the commission is more centered on. And secondly, again, if you look at Nigeria has about 774 LGAs, and if for the office of the president, I don't think even that 150 days, he can go around the country. So it takes a lot of movement, especially during the electoral period. But our responsibility is not to determine how candidates go around to politics, but our job is to make sure that during this period they follow the procedure laid down by the Electoral Act. That's what we are concerned about. Thank you.
Okay, let me start with you with this question. Your demand from INEC here. Now, since the electronic transmission of results is one of the critical factors for the success of this 2023 general election, how ready is INEC, to cyber secure the result from possible hacks? Because politicians, I tell you, they've gone ahead of you people. They are very desperate. Nigerian politicians, let's not paint it. They can do anything to be in that position. And so, just like it is happening, the snatching of ballot boxes are happening manually. And you and me know that, in fact, much more happens in the cyber space. Yeah. And so, what does INEC, doing to cyber secure this result? Because at once, somebody who did not win can send virus to that result and render it nonsense.
Useless.
So that you don't win, I don't win.
All I can say is that INEC is ready, and I don't think people should worry about that.
Okay. I don't know. Do you have anything to contribute to that question? It seems to be like
that's a very important question.
Yes.
And the truth of the matter is that you see, INEC is at the eye of the storm, and since that's why I should above suspicion. Now, if anything happens to their cyber, there's nothing they will say that Nigerians will understand. The general belief will be that INEC has communicated with some politicians to do 50%. In fact, they will be condemned before even they make a statement. So they should know the implication of telling stories of cases, and they should go high. They should be 10 steps ahead of the politicians. They should be, because the danger and the crisis incipient of following upon any issues emanating from the cyber will be told, possibly in blood on the streets of Nigeria. So I want to believe that INEC understands this. INEC has a historical experience. They have conducted elections since we became independent, either under one name or guide or the other. At least within this period, they have done this business for 22 years. 22 solid years. A child of 22 is already in the university and is an adult in any legal system in the world.
Some have graduated.
Some have graduated. In fact, some places the person already has a child. So INEC must perfect their act. And I have implicit confidence that they cannot tell stories to understand how the system works. No. Yes. I believe that.
Just before we take comments, I just want you to make a brief comment to that, and then we'll just go to take comments from our viewers.
Yes, this technology changes for this in electoral acts. Very, 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 very important. Like the question you just asked. I believe that INEC is aware that there may be corruption, or what I mean by corruption, it can be tampered, manipulations and things like that. And so I believe that they must have strategies, security strategies, to ensure that their database or their documents are not being contaminated. So it's very key because INEC is the key factor in the electoral process, and so they must do everything to ensure that they bridge every gap, that will give room for any form of manipulation. But the problem in election in Nigeria has always been manipulation of figures. At the end of the day,
and sorry to tell you, that can be done online very well.
Very well. That's what we're saying.
Yes.
It can be done. Even doing online is very easy to be done online. And so, like he said, INEC must go 10 steps ahead to ensure that wherever and however that this thing can come in, they'll have to script it properly.
Thank you very much. INEC, please, wherever you are, if you're listening, whatever steps you're taking, up it, because it's a possibility. You cannot rule it out. It's a possibility. Yeah, thank you. So at this point, we're just going to take comments from our viewers. We have this from Bridget. Your citizens need to know that they have the right to reject any candidate imposed on them at the polls. Thank you very, very much. I think the awareness is like a tsunami. The awareness is blowing, the length and breadth of this country. And INEC, I hope you are preparing, because we're going to see a massive turnout. Thank you, Bridget, for your comment there. This one's this one is from Peter Ikabie. INEC should do the needful to reduce disqualification of candidates during and after election by complying with the Electoral Act 2022 and the Nigerian Constitution. I believe INEC, if any disqualification INEC has been doing is in line with the Constitution, I'm not holding it for them, but I think that's what it is, But however, thank you for your comment. Peter Ikabie, again, the citizens should know that election is not do or die affair. Hence, compliance to the new Electoral Act is advised. So thank you very much. I mean, we have the spirit of sportsmanship. Our former president, Goodluck Jonathan, introduced it, but I don't know how many politicians are buying into it anyway. But thank you for your comment there. Doris Omako, it's good to know that you're streaming live with us. Thank you. Samson Olo, thank you. Shimwe Sita Nwa Lesi Onka, I hope I didn't murder that name. You're streaming live with us. Samala Shiba, thank you. You're streaming live with us. Why can I command? Citizens should know that only valid voters will exercise their franchise. Thank you for your thoughts there. Why can I command? The citizens should also know that electoral violators will face the full wrath of the law. In Ekiti, let me just hold it brief. In Ekiti, some electoral violators buying a vote, selling a vote. There's a question coming to that. How has INEC deal with that? Because see, if people are shown as example, it will help the general election ultimately. If INEC put their ground, I mean, the agencies that are collaborating with INEC, all of them put together, and prosecute certain people and they are facing sentence, it will serve as deterrent to others. So what has INEC at the election? You are the INEC man, what have they done? I know some persons were arrested in this we had of vote buying and that. What has INEC done so far? Because that will give credit and give hope.
INEC's position is to prosecute every electoral offense, every electoral offender. I know that I've prosecuted some in the past, but for a key issue, is the responsibility of the police most times or security agents to make arrests, and the process is that once they make arrests, they hand over the case file and other details to INEC to proceed from there. So INEC has been engaged in regards to such electoral prosecution, and I know that INEC has always intensified it. So, but just like I said, it's a collaboration. INEC doesn't have the power to start investigating or going to the field to start chasing people, but it's the job of the police. So that's why INEC is always having stakeholder meetings with security agencies, because once this arrest is being effected.
You are a Palestine, you will prosecute this. Is there any known person now who's serving jail term sentence prosecuted by INEC as you know in your record? Can you give us
when you say known person, I don't know.
No, a person that INEC prosecuted that is serving jail terms or has paid a fine? Is there any?
No, of course, I know. Like, not in this day, before I came down to here, I know I prescribed one or two, and I know that there was conviction. Yeah, there was.
That's good to hear. Okay, let's just take our comment. Now, the citizens should know that there is no more WA Sylvester. What can be further done to sensitize the citizens, especially the youth, about vote buying and selling? A case study they concluded Ekiti election where some youths were seen brandishing naira, as if this person just knew, naira notes on TikTok's video. You see what I'm talking about? Thank you for your thoughts, my brother. Anthony Onyekwere, Brownie, thank you for sending live with us. Cynthia Osondo, thank you. It's good to know that you're streaming live with us. Code as well. What should be the methodology and strategy to be adopted to dissuade citizens to reject vote selling, buying, and disabuse? I think he means disabuse. And its implication. Okay, thank you for your thoughts. Yeah, this one is from Rosemary Abbey. Nigerian electors should vote wisely in this forthcoming election. They should not sell their votes because their votes are valuable, and that is why they want to buy it fraudulently. Nigerian youth, I hope you're listening. Your votes are very valuable. Don't sell them. If you sell them, you're selling your future and your entire generation. Boma Mani, thank you for streaming live with us. Charles William Obara, thank you. The change we have been clamoring for has come. Let us ensure we and all those around us get our PVC so we can vote for candidates come 2023. Thank you very much for your thoughts there. Begimo William, electronic transmission of results will be a way forward, provided the umpire INEC will do the right thing and to stop what happened recently. Vote buying and selling will continue to play, a major role. Thank you very much, Bekimbo, for your thoughts there. You see, vote buying and selling is coming out consistently, and that's why I was trying to say the Ekiti election and the one that is coming very soon. Which one again? One is done by this one now. Also, yes, as if these elections were placed to be seen as a litmus test or as a test per se to what is going to happen in 2023. So whatever happens there, how serious you take it will send a message to people in the 2023 election. Am I communicating?
You're making a point.
Yes. So INEC is also you who swoop down on people, take some drastic decision. We're in the world of social media. Before you know it, will go viral, even the whole world. So let people know that it is not business as usual. Thank you. This one is from Charles William Opara. Kudos to the River State being proactive and doing the needful in ensuring a free, fair, and credible election. Thank you for the commendation there, sir. IFEOMA Onachukwu Obele. We should vote person who can deliver and not a party. Oh, thank you for your thoughts there. Sir, you were watching live with us. Thank you. NWABUDE, your banning goes to thank you. Samuel Ashiba. The Electoral Act 2020 is a very good one for our democracy. It is now on the onus of the state actors taking charge of its implementation to do their work well. That's it. The Electoral Act itself, it does not have hands and legs. It's just a mere document. We hope that through it, a transparent election will be midwife. Well, let's just we'll still come back to take some comments now. The Ekiti, state governorship election was allegedly characterized by vote buying. What stringent measure? INEC is taking, learning from this Ekiti and also that will come. What stringent measure? Because you see, this thing informs what you will do. Because in fact, the way the elections are positioned, as it were, is for INEC to look at and then go ahead of the people. Because As we're here doing sensitizing, politicians are strategizing. The people on the other side are planning and all that. So it depends on what you do that will send a message to them. And the kind of message you send to them will depend on how cautious they will be. So what is INEC doing from this experience? Because this experience are there. What stringent measure? The word here is stringent. What new thing? Let me use what? What new thing are they doing that they have not done? Because when you do anything, it will give you a new result.
Thank you once more.
Yeah.
Just like my colleague, discussant have said, it's all about engagement. INEC tries to develop with the process. And people should know that vote buying and things like that is an electoral offense. It's bribery under the electoral act, also undue influence, and it comes with jail time. But there is just like one thing I just want people to understand is that most times, whatever that happens within the confines of the polling unit, INEC is in control, and such people can be arrested. But at times, most of these situations happen outside the purview of the polling unit or outside the purview of the voting environment. So it's difficult for INEC to start going into people's homes to start engaging them on asking the security officers to make such arrests. But what INEC can do on its own part is to continue to engage people, just like what you are doing now, for them to understand that selling of vote is wrong, and that if they are apprehended, you'll be prosecuted. And if you are prosecuted, you'll be convicted. And if you are jailed, you'll be an ex-convict. It has implication in the future. Those are messages that people should understand. Than selling your vote, collecting 10,000 naira for if you are convicted at the end of the day, you are going for jail for 12 months, at times you pay a fine of 500,000 naira or so. So it doesn't benefit you in any way.
So we were running up, but the better part of the time now, we'll concentrate on what are those things the ordinary Nigerian citizens on the streets, in the markets, in our schools should know about the Electoral Act. We'll take our turns. This is what we do until we call it a day today. So please, I want you to start. You're the INEC man. Okay. Please look at the camera. Talk to the people. What Nigerians, the ordinary Nigerians, not the barristers like you and the woman from you are enlightened people who practically have the law. But those things, those common things, Nigerians should know that they should be happy with.
Yeah, when you say those common things, most people are actually enlightened. Even those people call common are well versed when it comes to political matters more than you. Yeah, they may not be able to put the laws for you, but they can tell you everything about the electoral process. But one fundamental thing I think people should know is that their vote will count, and that they should go out and register. And for those who have registered, they should avoid multiple registration. It's very, very fundamental. Because INEC have consistently said, even in social media, in jingles, that their voters card has not expired. Because people have been brandishing that rumor that voters card, that people that registered from between 2011 to today, most of them, their voters card have expired. So it's necessary that they know that their voters card has not expired and that it is valid, and there is no point. If you have misplaced your card, go to INEC. INEC website is very easy to access, it's very easy to use. If you have misplaced your voter's card, there is no point going to go and make a new registration. Just go to the site, put down your details, and you will see your information. You can ask for loss of card and other information. So people should know that the process has been made so easy for them to go and register or get their card if they have misplaced it. Why INEC is making all this process very simple, so that you will have no reason not to come and cast your vote on that day. Thank you.
Yeah. Madam, what do you think the ordinary thing from the perspective of the Transition Monitoring Group, the ordinary Nigerian citizen should know? The woman who sells fish in the market, she can tell you with broken that the electoral say na so we go do, na so this one na right. She knows it, even though she cannot communicate in Queen's English. She'll be able to tell in broken. So what are those things? Those small things that they should know, they should be armed with. It's very important. That's the reason why we're here.
Thank you very much once again, sir.
Yeah.
Number one is that your vote is your power.
Yes, that is the PVC.
That's the PVC. Go get your permanent voter's card, because that's what will make you to be eligible to vote. And as I talk to you now, many people are scared that their vote will not count. But we are standing here before the general public to encourage people that their vote will count.
Sorry, let me just take this call. Hello.
Hello, my name is Bridget Idemio.
Yeah.
I'm calling from the local government area. I have a question.
Okay, go on with your question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why does INEC not detect some of the lapses discovered in the requirements of candidates if an agreed party goes to court? Thank you.
Okay. Hello. She's gone there.
Look at what she's saying.
Yeah.
Somebody submits his credentials to INEC.
Yes.
But those credentials are faulty in itself.
Yes.
For instance, the person has said, I have social qualification, and it is not there. She's asking, why wouldn't INEC identify it until an opponent goes to court?
Okay. That's it. This is purely an INEC question.
No, it's an INEC question.
It's a question directed to INEC.
Okay, yeah. See,
Sorry. Let him just address it.
Election is a process. Now, when it comes to submission of nomination and affidavit from candidates, INEC job is not to go and start verifying the information submitted by political parties on behalf of their candidate. And that is why there is from EC 9, that's affidavit of information of candidates, that 7 days after you have submitted it to INEC will publish this information and every form you have submitted in each local government. Why they are doing that is for you to go and look at those information, because these are people that you have known from your grassroots. Oh, I have known Mr. This. No, he didn't go to this school. It's left for you to challenge it. It's not the job of INEC. And that's why even the Electoral Act, in one of the new innovations of the Electoral Act, says, if you are aggrieved in regards to any information about anybody, proceed to the Federal High Court. INEC's job is to provide everything you have submitted. And further, INEC has also made it simpler. Political parties submit these documents online. You understand? You upload it online to INEC portal. So INEC will publish it the way you have submitted it. So of course, that's what the law provides. That's the position of the law.
Okay, Ms. Bridget, you heard from the INEC. The law provider is not the duty of INEC to begin to dictate faulty documents or forged documents and all of that. So they will publish it, and its opponents or the village people, anybody, you're free to challenge it that I know this document is false. I hope your question has been answered. So
it has not narrowed it down that those that can even challenge most of those documents are those that participated in the process of the primaries.
Okay.
Yes.
Narrowed down.
No, of course. Because if you just open it wide like that, it may lead to a lot of litigation. So if they try to narrow it down, it's one of the provisions, the new innovations of the Electoral Act.
Okay. You wanted to say something?
And again, INEC is not. If I tell INEC I'm 20 feet.
As a lawyer, you know that it states that every information you are supplying is true.
Exactly. And when it's not true,
it's like a line on that.
Yes, line on that oath.
Committed an offense.
Okay, it's an offense, serious offense. So that is we're just winding down. You were just saying something before that call came in. So let's go back to track. What citizens should know. What citizens should know is very important. The ordinary citizens. Those things, those small things that they need to harm themselves with.
Thank you, sir. The Electoral Act is to midwife for a credible election. You cannot do election without your PVC. And so I'm trying to say that your PVC is your power. And use it wisely. Use it with conscience. Use it to bring in people that will impact positive change to the life of the common man in Nigeria. So let's go out and register to obtain our power for action. Secondly, I want to say that election campaign has been given a wider range of time, from 90 days to 150 days. It's an ample time campaigning going over. I want parents to be careful and ensure that our children are not being used into violence, thuggery, and these people that will use them, their children are not here. They are somewhere outside the country. The common people will be used, young youths will be used. Let's avoid these things as the campaign comes. The campaign is for sensitization, for advocacy, and for awareness. That's what it ought to be. And whichever party or whatever you belong to, let it be like to create an awareness and not to encourage hate speech and things like that. Vote buying and selling is something that we have to discourage, and we don't have to be involved in it because it has a lot of implication to our democracy. And as we do that, take these precautionary measures, I believe strongly that come 2023, that we're going to elect people who are credible, that will bring the desired change that this nation needs desperately. We need change.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, the truth of the matter is that it is the election is a process, and my colleague said it's a process. Getting registering and getting PVC is one thing. Using the PVC as prescribed by law in such a way that your effort in getting it and to make the change will be desirable and obtained is another thing. Like so 56 of the electoral act has made it that you place to vote. For instance, if you register and you are to vote in a polling booth at Afani Park, and having gotten your PVC, you celebrate and you went to somewhere in the rural Enugu state, somewhere in NOA, and having the PVC. I doubt if you vote there in that community.
The PVC is completely useless.
It's completely useless for you. So it's completely useless for you. So, and INEC has indeed made it provision that you can move your polling booth from one point to the other depending on convenience. Yeah. For instance, I vote in my village at the village square, and I'm sure that I'm getting to the village at least 72 hours of the election to go and vote personally myself. So now, having gotten your PVC, please ensure that it is tailored to a polling booth that will make effective use of that PVC. That is the provision of the electoral act. Because when you are in the wrong place, your name will not appear on the elect material. You will not be put within your neighborhood where you reside, so that you can make your choice or do the voting there. That is very, very fundamental. Or you just have a PVC that is not useful to you, you will get frustrated, you will not lend your voice to the electoral process, and anybody who didn't participate in the election, and anybody who didn't vote, anybody who didn't make a choice, should not be held to complain. Be part of the process so that your complaint will be quiet and better legitimate.
Let me just earlier I've said, if you have registered and probably you know that you may not be around to vote, probably your location is a problem. INEC has made it possible for you to make transfer. If you look at the period of the election and you feel like you'll be in another state or you'll be in another local government, you can even use your phone to do it. You don't even need to count your sleep that you used to come and collect your card eventually. So they have made it easy. And that's why I say that INEC is making everything possible to make things easier for the voters, for the registrant, and to make sure that on that day they collect their PVC. And that's another fundamental thing. Not only registering, but going to collect their PVC at the local government where you have registered and utilize it positively on the day of election.
Yeah, viewers, this is where we were going to round it off for today. Now, two key things, two key things. You may register and the PVC is not useful to you. How? You are not in the location where you registered. You have the PVC quite all right, you've celebrated, but that PVC is useless. It's not if it's lying down there, you did not go to collect the PVC. You would have to change the country. Now, let me say this, viewers. When you sell your vote, you are selling away healthcare. You are selling away education. You are selling away power. You are selling away infrastructure. You are selling virtually everything that will make for a good governance, that will distribute and eventually come to you. What goes around comes around. It's a saying that what goes around comes around. You sell the vote. I wonder how much you're selling it for. It will last you for 4-8 years. I don't know. But I'm not looking at the politicians and tell them, hey, this is not what you told us. This is not what you told us. Now you're doing a different thing. You don't even have the moral justification to do that, because you have sold your birthright, just like Esau sold his birthright. It is on this note that we're going to be rounding off the NOA River State dialogue for today. I want to, on behalf of the National Orientation Agency River State, thank you from the depth, of our heart. Thank you, for coming today. Let me start with you, Pastor Wilfred. We are very much delighted to have you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Joy IFEOMA, thank you for honoring with your presence. I know next time we will call you. I know you will also make our time to come with your beautiful presence.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Barrister AROCHKWU, thank you. You've been wonderful. Your insightful thought has made this conversation seamless for us. I want to take this time to heartily, appreciate some very important people who have made, the NOA River State dialogue, a possibility, to be on the social media space for this enlightenment and orientation. I want to thank, the executive producer of NOA River State dialogue, in person of the Director General, National Orientation Agency, Dr. Kaba Abari. Sir, thank you for giving us this platform. And I also want to thank the producer in River State. It's no other person than Barrister Young Ayotamno, State Director, us. Thank you very much, sir. And I want to thank the studio director, the man who is behind the camera, making all this happen. Is, studio director of NOA River State Dialogue. He is the HOD ICT. Is no other person than Mr. Arolete Briggs. He is popularly referred to the NOA family as a master programmer. Sir, thank you for making this thing happen. And, I will be very ungrateful to conclude this, appreciation if I don't mention the able assistant, the wonderful able assistant, to the studio director, a worthy and reliable and always there for us. She's no other person than Mrs. IFEOMA Ilodibe. Mrs. IFEOMA, thank you very much. We appreciate your presence, sir. Viewers, let's do this again next week. Same day, same time. Please go and collect your PVC. Your votes will count. That your votes will not count is a lie from the pit of hell. Why are they buying it? Until we'll come your way next time again, stay responsible. Thank you.